Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. This is Mohammad Badruddin and today we are gonna solve lab number 5 from OAuth authentication vulnerability module. So in today's lab we are gonna steal OAuth access token via an open redirect. The description of this lab is saying this lab uses an OAuth service to allow users to log in with their social media account. Flawed validation by OAuth service makes it possible for an attacker to leak access token to arbitrary page on the client application. So to solve the lab, we need to identify an open direct on the block side and use this open redirect to steal the access token for the administrator user account. And then we will use that access token to obtain the administrator's API key. And then we need to submit it in the submit solution section. There is a note: you cannot access the admin's API key by simply logging in into their account on the client application. We will see that in a minute. The admin user will open anything you send from the exploit server, and they always have an active session with the OAuth service, and this is our social media credentials. So without wasting time, I'm just going to turn on the burp proxy on my browser. I'm gonna manage both of the windows a bit so that you can see both of the windows simultaneously, and then I'm going to access the lab. And there is some kind of issue. Let's try one more time and we will see whether we can access the lab or not. And as you can see, the lab is open. So I'm directly going to my account section where I can log in. So you can see it's redirecting us to the social media login page, and we will get the login page. So Wiener is the username and the password is Peter. Hit enter, don't save. So you can see this is the first request, and within this request it's mentioning different parameters. So I hope up to now you already know the meaning of these parameters. The most important parameter is redirect URI, because we are going to use it to see whether we can make any out of band interaction or not. This is the important part here. Response type is token. So in the previous lab you saw response type is equal to code. That means authorization code grant type is being used, but in this lab implicit grant type is being used. That's why you see the response type value is token. Nonce is used, scope is used, but state is not used. State parameter is missing. That means somehow this application, maybe this functionality is vulnerable to CSRF. We will see that in a minute. And now after doing this, we can see here it's asking for the consent that the third-party application is trying to access the user's profile information. Once I click on continue, you can see, so now here you can see OAuth callback request, and after this we have the access token now, and then this access token is being used in this request / me where the access token is being used. You can see we can access the user information. Fine. So our purpose is to steal this token. This access token belongs to the administrator user. So if we just go to my account, you can see the username is Wiener and the email is wiener@hotdog.com, and API key is hidden, and that's why in the lab description it's saying that you cannot just simply log in and get the API key here. So you will get the API key in this particular request / me where the access token is being used. Fine. So now what I'm going to do, if I log out and log in again, you will see now all of these requests you will not see because it's already done in first time. So you will just see 3 requests. First is authorization token request where it will ask for the access token, then OAuth callback, and then me / me where it's gonna access the user profile information, and we are logged in. So now the first thing is I'm going to take the first request and send it to the repeater, and let's see what's gonna happen if I send this request. You can see 302 found because it's redirecting us to this location, okay, on the / OAuth callback endpoint. But one thing to be noticed here, that once it's redirecting us to this endpoint, you can see the access token is being added into the URL. If I just copy this URL, go back to the browser, open a new tab and send this request, hit enter, it's gonna send us to the OAuth callback, but it's not showing us because it's keep redirecting us up to you log in. But if you closely analyze each of these requests, you will find here the request in between is processed but not visible to the user, but it's actually using this authorization access token. So my purpose is to see whether I can interact with any out of band site or any other site. So within the redirect URI parameter, I'm gonna define HTTPS, let's say example.com, and see what's gonna happen. Send the request, and this time you can see 400 response code, status code is 400, bad request. That means you cannot interact with any other site. Google.com, again 400, bad request. What I'm gonna try, I'm gonna just consider this exploit server is same like Google or any external site, but this is the attacker controlled server. So instead of google.com, send the access token to here on this /exploit on our exploit server, and still 400 bad request. I'm gonna back to this genuine request which is containing the OAuth. Okay, so back to the application, and here let's see if I go to view the post, because our purpose is to find out any kind of open redirect so that we can interact out of band or any other site from this site to our exploit server. So this is the post. I want to see, because it's redirecting us somewhere, so I want to see whether it's redirecting us within the same site to other paths. So I'm just going to test here the directory traversal, and I'm gonna paste this /post, and post ID is the parameter, value is 9. So if I send this request, you can see 302 found. 302 found means this is processing correctly. I'm gonna copy the URL and let's see, come back here or open a new tab, paste that. So you can see redirect URI is this, here is the directory traversal, and we are moving to this. So hit enter and let's see. And as you can see, we landed to post ID 9 with the access token there. Fine. So this is perfectly fine. Now the problem here is still we cannot send or redirect this one to the exploit server, and for this purpose we need to find out open redirect. This is not open redirect, this is just directory traversal. So if I go to the next post, send the next post request, and let's analyze in the proxy tab. So this is the next post, and the parameter is path, and then it's specifying the endpoint or URI. So I want to test this. For that purpose, I'm going to take this one, copy back to the repeater, and after the directory traversal, I want to paste that here. So /post /next, and then path is the parameter, and here I want to test something. Let's see, example.com. With this we can redirect it to any external site or not. So 302 found, that means perfectly fine, and we can interact to the external sites. So if I copy the URL back here and paste that, hit enter, we should move to example.com. Yes, that's perfectly fine, and this is what we need. Fine. Second part, now if you see here, again we get the access token. Now this access token is included in the URL, but how you will get that access token on the exploit server within the access logs? So for that purpose you need to do something else. I'm going to the development tools, go to inspect and go to console, and I want to extract this access token so that I can uh, send this access token within the access log as an endpoint. So if I say document dot location, and once I create document dot location, you can see the complete URL is there, but we don't need this complete URL. I just want to see the hash segment, this hash segment. Fine. So document dot location dot hash. And again, if you want to remove this hash, so for this purpose I want to say here substring 1. So it's gonna remove the hash. Now you have everything after the hash from that URL. Now what I'm gonna do here is go to the exploit server, and first of all let's try whether now you can go to the exploit server or not. And I'm going to copy this and paste it here after the path, because this is the open redirect. Open means it's open to go anywhere, to redirect anywhere. Delete this and put the exploit server. Okay, and within the exploit server what I'm going to do is to write here one script, and I'm gonna say a window dot location is equal to same what I did here. So I'm going to copy this part, Control C, back to the exploit server and paste it here, right? And that's it. Just take this URL, copy URL and paste it here, hit enter. Let's see if it works correctly. You will see here hello world. Okay, because in the body section there is hello world. Oh, come on, I made a mistake here. I actually forget to add a script tag here. So back here again, paste again, hit enter, hello world. And if I come back here and go to the access log, we should see, okay, someone trying to access exploit endpoint, but still access token is not there. Why? Because I made a mistake. I forgot to store it. Okay, now again paste that, hit enter, close this, and it's saying resource not found. Resource not found. Why? Because although if you go to the access log you will find the access token this time, but resource not found because it's directly trying to access this access token endpoint with value this, which is invalid. So we can use this access point as a parameter if we put here question mark. Okay, so I'm gonna say here question mark, fine, and just put slash also, maybe, because we also see slash, but still. Okay, now back again on this tab and paste it, hit enter. This time we should not see resource not found. You see hello world page and redirected to the exploit server. Now if you go to the access log, you will see this time everything perfectly, and access token is acting as a parameter because it's because of this question mark, it's acting as a query string, and this is the value of access log. Fine, so that's perfect. And now we are ready to send this exploit to the victim, but one thing to be noticed. Right now we are actually manually pasting that malicious URL on the browser and accessing. But if you send this exploit to the victim, it will not work because we want that victim to access this URL. So for that purpose, I'm gonna write here one more section, because there are two sections. The first section is victim must access that malicious URL, and after that, once the access token is generated and included into the URL, then we will fetch that access token, and we will keep it as query string with the parameter and the value, and it will be accessed, and then we will get it in the access log. So I'm going to say not document dot location dot hash. Fine. Then come back here, and let's say window dot location is equal to paste the malicious link here, where the redirect URI value is using the path traversal and the open redirect, where it's mentioned the redirection value to the exploit server, and that's it. So once it's gonna see it, and then if it's already accessed this one, then it will take the value from the URL access after the hash. So okay, and just manage this a bit. Fine. Now store this and just view exploit once, and this time you will see once I click on view exploit, I automatically will access this one, which will redirect us to the exploit server, and the URL will contain the access token. Then the access token will be extracted and will use as a part of query string, and it will be shown here in the access log. So view exploit hello world. First of all, that means it's accessing the page, and from the page, once the script is executed, it executed this one, access token is included, and then access token is being sent here. Okay, SL. So if I go back, you can see SL, and the access token is being used as the query string. This is the parameter. Fine. Now it's ready to send this exploit to the victim. So deliver exploit to the victim. Okay, and this is the access logs are already open here. So I'm just going to refresh it, and as we send this to the victim, you can see some different IP, which is different from my IP. That means someone else is trying to access. And in these 4 requests, you can see one request containing the access token, and this access token must belong to the administrator. So I'm just going to copy this access token with Control-C and back to the burp proxy, go to the proxy history, and we need the request where the access token is being used and the user profile is being accessed. So /me was the request. This is the request. Fine. I'm going to send this request to the repeater. Go to the repeater. If I send this request without changing this access token, because that access token belongs to me, so we will always get the information about us. But here, this time we already have the access token of administrator user. So I'm going to change this and paste the value of administrator's access token, send the request. You can see now the subject is administrator. This is the API key, name is administrator, and this is the email. So we need just the API key of the administrator, which I'm going to copy back to the lab and submit solution, send, copy, paste it, API key, and okay. and we solve the lab. Fine. So that's it for this lab. This lab is all about chaining multiple vulnerabilities within the application. If this application does not contain path traverser, open redirection, CSRF, then it will be hard to trick the user and get the access token. So sometimes you find out a vulnerability, but you cannot actually exploit it on that level because some supporting vulnerabilities you do not found. Okay, so to be successful in this kind of vulnerabilities and implementation flaws, sometimes you need to find more than one vulnerability, and you need to chain those vulnerabilities to exactly reach to that point where the exploitation will impact most to that target. Fine. So that's it. If you have any query, please put your query in the comment section. I will try to respond as soon as possible. And if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye.